Billy Garland is over, who is, Tupac's biological father. He's over on Art of Dialogue's channel doing an interview. I think he's got a couple of segments up now. Have you checked out any of the segments? Have you heard anything that he had to say about? I think he made a comment saying that when they interviewed him for Dear Mama, they asked him if Tupac was bipolar, and that was super offensive to him. Did you have any comments on his segment so far?
Did you say Tupac's father? John, did you say Tupac's father?
Yeah, that's what he says.
Oh, okay. Then you must have said the name wrong. Did you say Dr. Matula?
No, Billy Garland.
Billy Garland. Oh, you talking about the sperm donor? Oh, okay. The guy that knows as much about Tupac as a kid that was born in a sperm bank. That's the guy you're talking about, right? So this guy that knows as much about Tupac, just like we all know, they know him from age 1 to 23. That's a good find on an interview. That's who we asking about. As far as about being my son and being a great find and a great interview. Okay, well, I only knew him 11 months. And so I guess he did know him, 12 months prior to me? But around those last 11 months, only time I saw him was at the hospital, hanging out over there in the corner with Kadada's mama. That's what I remember him, being with the actress lady, standing over there. And then when I went in the room one time and saw him rolling up a bunch of marijuana joints and stuff, smoking weed and stuff. Other than that, I guess there was some time when Tupac says, matter of fact, let's let Tupac tell him what he says, what he said.
I didn't have a father.
Did you know who the father was, your biological father?
I still don't know who it is, for sure. I've never taken any blood tests. The guy who I knew was my father, who claimed to be my father, he passed away, he died.
And is that legs?
Yes, but then recently after I got shot, this other guy came, was like he was my father and he looks like me. He been in the jail to see me. His kids look like me.
Well, what was that like?
That was the bug out. I just woke up and he was standing over me. So.
In jail?
When I was in the hospital.
And what did he, do you believe him?
I do in a way because he looks like me and his kids look like me.
Why don't you get a blood test to find out?
It's scary.
Is it pointless now?
In a way. I'm not gonna love him anymore or love him any less. So it's pointless.
Did he explain why he left?
Yeah.
What did he say?
It was personal. It wasn't, I don't want to put his word. I'll tell everything about me, but I don't want to give out his business.
That's cool.
So he says he woke up out in his bed or something like that and saw a dude that looked just like him standing over his bed after he got shot in quad. So that would have been a year prior to him coming to death row, about maybe, let's say, 14 months. So I mean, he knew him the last 25 months of his life. So Ice told of 2 times that he saw Tupac, but Tupac was in the hospital in those days. Time Tupac said he saw him standing over him in the hospital after the quad shooting. Okay. And then I guess he probably visited him a couple of times in the prison. Y'all done heard the lyrics that he said about his dad. Hey, I'll wait. I'll leave it there, y'all. I'll wait to see what the groupie, how he egg him on about Bomb First and Reggie Wright or Death Row before I respond. Other than that, but y'all just got to remember, all I won't say, maybe saw him 5 times in his lifetime. Y'all knew him or saw him the same amount of times or than he has in Juice, in Poetic Justice, in Brenda Got a Baby video and all that. That's the only time he saw him prior to those days. So y'all know about him just as much as he did. But he's speaking on him. Okay. We'll see. Maybe, hopefully, he'll just explain the relationship. And then, or why he was a deadbeat dad. You know? Deadbeat dad. That's all I got to say about him. Nigga, let me find out I got a kid or possibly got a kid on a hit it or quit it or whatever. I'm going to be in that boy's life or that girl's life. I don't care what mama say. Especially when they get old enough. You better believe he done had some hard times. Y'all don't think Tupac had hard times when he was 16, 17, 18, 19 years old? Prior to, him hitting his home runs. So he reached out, tried to reach out. Dr. Matula was in prison, so, you got people that saying he's your dad or possibly your dad. You try to reach out. Most of us, well, fortunately I wasn't, but a lot of us been raised by just our moms. So y'all know how he had to feel just being raised by your mom and knowing your dad is alive. And no matter what mom say, okay, we'll take what mom say and all of that until we get about 12, 13. 12, 13, 14, 15. Nigga, where dad at? Dad, where you at? What's up? I don't think those conversations ain't never happened. This man settled because he knew. Don't let him come up there like he just wanted his name on the birth certificate or be acknowledged. No, he sued. Took the estate to court trying to get his half. But he knew he couldn't prove nothing. And so he took that $722,000, $750,000, whatever that amount was, minus his third that he had to give to his attorneys. Went out and bought him a tractor truck. And so, man, keep pushing your tractor truck down the street. But I'm going to keep it in the chambers. I'm going to keep my stuff in the chambers. And then I'll respond to y'all later in the weeks. If the nigga be disrespectful or step out of line because of he let a bubble lip, gap tooth motherfucker get him out of line. I don't think Art will let that happen on this channel. Really hope the fuck not.
The first in line to siphon Tupac's money was Billy Garland, also known as the sperm donor, the father Tupac had never known. Tupac was 23 years old and was already famous when he met Billy for the first time in 1994. He was laying critically wounded when Billy showed up at his bedside. Tupac talked to him a little bit, and during the encounter, Afeni sat quietly in a corner on the carpet, giving space to her bedridden son, at the same time letting Billy know he did not have the full floor. Oh yes, and Billy showed up again in 1996 at the Las Vegas hospital where Tupac lay in a coma. I wonder what good it does for the dying when you're there for them at the end of their lives, but you never showed up for them while they were living. As far as Billy Garland goes, he seemed to have popped up out of nowhere, at least from where I sat. I knew of the men who had raised Tupac, who had loved Tupac. I had heard all the stories about Tupac's Uncle Tom and his stepfather Matulu, but I had never heard the name Billy Garland mentioned. I had heard all the when Tupac was a baby stories, and Billy Garland's name had never come up. Legs was mentioned, this tough, colorful street dude who respected Afeni and loved her little boy. Took him to the barbershop in McDonald's and called him his son. I had heard about Legs, but not Billy Garland. It was Crooksy who painted Afeni in Tupac's first bedroom when Afeni moved in with Glow, and there was Tupac's godfather, Cochise, who wrote him loving and careful letters from prison all through Tupac's growing up. I had heard how Glow kissed the newborn Tupac from head to toe as soon as he came out of the womb, but I had never heard stories of Billy Garland. So when I heard the news that Billy Garland was making claim to Tupac's money, I wondered how this man could stand in a courtroom in front of strangers and say he was this boy's father. I wondered, as I heard of this absurd lawsuit, how he could hold his head high enough to even see his way into a courtroom after not living one moment in the child's life. I wondered how he could take the tears of a grieving mother, as tough as that mother may be, and flaunt those tears in front of a judge and lawyers and say, I want some of what's left for her, for myself. It's incredible that a person who has never provided anything for a child, as that child grows up, would try to take what that child has made for himself on his own. All Billy Garland ever did for Tupac was create a void, which Tupac in all futility searched to fill for most of his life.